Hey, welcome back to Upper Michigan. Today we're still here with comedian Vinny Schultz talking about the upcoming stand-up comedy festival, the second annual one that's happening at the Oradoc Brewing Company from November 1st through the 4th, with a little intro show happening next week. I can't believe next week is already October 5th. It's kind of crazy. Time's just
flying.
Time is flying. And also, speaking of time, how you know, from the start of your comedy career to now, how have things changed with jokes? Because we all know with social media, with
we were
people,
actually just
you know.
kind of talking about this. Yeah, so I would say social media has definitely changed the writing game, and let's just say like just phones in general too, because people, let's just say comics like Dave Chappelle, big A-listers, when they're working on new comedy bits, it's not the most perfect material just yet, and they don't want people just taking like 15-minute clips of what they're still working on and then putting it on social media, and then those 15-second clips are taken way out of context. So they try and like definitely keep from people recording stuff. But then as far as social media being around, we're also seeing all the stuff that's happening in the world, so it's also giving us more content to use on stage, I guess you could say. But also with that, since I've started, and people definitely went through this like divisive phase, I would say, in general in this country, and it was really difficult to make jokes about certain topics, this and that. But I think we've gotten over the hump where people are just kind of tired about the sensitivity, and I think people are just ready to laugh. And I might not poke fun at serious topics, but there are comics out there who are able to do it these days again, and I think that's a step in the right direction for once. I don't know, yeah, it's definitely helping us out, the social media. I guess she said it's a double-edged sword because...
Yeah, because, you know, you need social media to kind of get yourself out there, but then also it can...
You have to be
out of
careful
context
about it.
can be the end of your, you know, comedy career. So yeah, it definitely is. But we were talking during the break too about how you really need comedy, especially these days. You need it. You need to laugh.
Well,
it just gets so sad if you don't.
And also, like, I would say comics, there's some of those people who don't have a whole lot of inhibitions, so they're just going to say what's on their mind, and they might be saying things that other people are just thinking about that just they're too afraid to say. So in that sense, I feel like comics are on this forefront of just like breaking through and just being the people on the, I don't know, just...
They can bridge the gap between two different people. They can be that common thread, the connection, the spark to start a conversation.
That's the way. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah,
definitely, because it takes a lot of courage and confidence, I think, to be a stand-up comic. I know they've done, you know, things in the past where you can try out, like, you know, amateurs, like go up and just start telling some jokes, see what happens.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying.
and I mean, I can imagine that there would be this. You develop your content and you work on it, but there probably gets to a point where that joke is no longer relevant, and if you're telling that on stage, people are like, oh, why are you still talking about this? That happened months ago.
Yeah.
So how does that affect your process of writing?
Well, I mean, you got a good point there. When you have something that's irrelevant, you just end up throwing it away, and as good of a joke as it is, if it's not relevant, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. And so at that point, you might need to find like a new way of talking about the subject, bringing it up in a different way. The setup might be different, but relevancy is definitely important these days, and you got to stay relevant with the new stuff going on.
How do you do that? Do you just keep up with the news, social media, current events?
I don't like to make a whole lot of jokes about news, and I honestly like to try and just make jokes about my life and things I do, like going to the doctors. I work for the post office. I just try and find a nice gray area where it won't divide people. I might say things that do sometimes divide people, but I just like to try and find a good middle ground. I don't like to do politics and stuff. I don't understand it enough to make fun of it.
Right. You have to really get it in order to like get to the point of making fun of it.
Yeah.
So remind us again when people can check out these upcoming comedy shows in Marquette.
October 5th, next Thursday, at 7:30 p.m. is when the show will start. The doors open at 6:30. Tickets are $10. Dave Welfare will be headlining. Zach Brooks will be hosting, and a bunch of locals will be doing some time too. Then November 1st through the 4th, that will be the Comedy Fest. The Wednesday night's free. Tuesday, Thursday are $20 nights, and then Saturday's a $20 to $5 show for the America's Got Talent comic. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean that's $25 for an America's Got Talent comedian. Sounds fairly reasonable, and other opportunities to check out those free shows. If you look on your screen, you can find that link to the full schedule written out before you. But I wanted to say thank you for coming on to Upper Michigan today, and filling us in on all this,
Yeah,
all these
thanks for having
happenings.
me.
Yeah, of course.
I love doing this, so bring me back.
We will. Hey, next time you got a show coming on, come to do a little preview set here. We'll see if your
I
jokes
will
will
write
work first.
some jokes for the TV.
Exclusive for Upper Michigan
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
We'd love to
for
do that. I'm
sure.
going to hold you to that.
All right.
We do have to take another quick break, but we'll be right back.